Hello, fellow World of Warcraft fans. Today we're talking about one of the biggest leaks, if not the biggest leak in the history of World of Warcraft. We already took a look at this recently. It was about the so-called Project Camelot, which is supposed to be Classic Plus, and the guy who leaked it came forward with new information a few days ago. Among other things, he named a source where he supposedly got this picture, and he also talked about what's next for World of Warcraft retail after the World Soul Saga, and that's actually pretty interesting. So let's take a look at the whole thing. Keep in mind, these are leaks. It's pure speculation. None of this has been officially confirmed by Blizzard. So just because it says that doesn't mean it will happen or has to happen, but I think it's at least interesting to discuss it. So let's get started. If you want to support me, feel free to leave a like, subscribe. It doesn't cost anything, and it's the best way for you to support me. And with that, let's get into the video. Let's quickly summarize again, and we'll take another look at it in a moment. A few days ago, a week and a half ago, a document was leaked that showed a timeline of World of Warcraft. And it was about the future add-ons for retail. Something called Project Camelot was listed there. That's supposed to be the new Classic Plus. New servers were announced, or rather, refreshes for existing Classic versions, and so on and so forth. So there was quite a lot in it. A single-player Arthas RPG was also mentioned in it. So that would mean that in the near future, if that's true, there's going to be quite a lot related to the Warcraft franchise coming our way. Where I could imagine there might be something to it is because Blizzard themselves once said they want to further expand the Warcraft IP. And honestly, in my opinion, a standalone game from this universe would fit really well. But let's take another look at this here. This table has supposedly existed since 2025. The guy who leaked this said he has access to it because his girlfriend worked on the social media team for World of Warcraft. And she accidentally got access to this document. Other people, on the other hand, say no, that's definitely a fake. Because, for example, Wadlook is spelled wrong here. Or rather, it's marked as a word it doesn't recognize, and people say, yeah, if that were in the Blizzard database, then their own database would save it and not mark it as a spelling mistake. The same here with Arthas. Although I have to say here, yes, I see that as a point, but on the other hand, I write for, I don't know, countless years now, 5 by now, I've been self-employed and writing texts from home, and now I also write about my hometown here. And whatever. And I don't put all the proper names and other terms into the dictionary either. That means every time I write something here about a big folk festival, it's always marked as a spelling mistake. Sure, it doesn't have to mean anything, but what I'm trying to say is if someone is lazy like me, they don't necessarily add it to their spell checkers dictionary. So here we see World of Warcraft Midnight Q1 26, that's right. Then in 27, in the third quarter, the last Titan would be released, and at the beginning of 2029, the next add-on, patch 14.0, and in quarter 3, 230, patch 15.0 is marked here. So, in other words, there are apparently more add-ons planned for the coming years. If, as I said, this is true, we can also see here that in quarter 4 of 2026, the classic cycle apparently continues. A few months ago, the Burning Crusade was released, and now it seems like it's going to be rolled out again for Wrath of the Lich King. And in Q2 2028, there will be new classic servers, so fresh classic experiences. And then in 2029, something else is supposed to come again, we'll see. What's important here is that Project Camelot is supposed to be released in Q3 2026, and as I said, that's the rumored Classic Plus mode. What that's all about, we will see. Also very interesting is the fact that an RTS, that is a strategy game, is announced or planned here. For 2028 plus, apparently an anime series, and for Q3 2029, an RPG about Arthas. Personally, I'll be honest with you, I think it would be awesome if these leaks are true. Because action RPG, or generally action games and adventure games, are my favorite genres, and one just about Arthas would be insanely awesome. But now let's get to this. This is the leaker who revealed all of this, and here he explains again where he got all these sources and what he posted about them. So we can see it, this screenshot with Camelot was actually posted for the first time in August 2025. So this picture wasn't just made and faked recently as was suspected, it actually appeared earlier. He also leaked information about BlizzCon 26 here, but these pictures were deleted again. Then he says here that his ex-girlfriend was on Blizzard's social media team and got fired. That would make sense since Blizzard has outsourced a lot in this department in recent years. So that's confirmed, the layoff, that could be true. And then I find this very, very interesting too. The next expansion takes us back to the Black Blood and the world soul of Azeroth, and Azeroth is ultimately the final title and will be brought to life to cleanse the player. To cleanse the planet, including us players. The final expansion of World of Warcraft will then wrap it all up, and we have to kill Azeroth. So basically, the last Titan would come, then there would be this patch where Azeroth is brought to life and wants to cleanse the planet, and then there would be a final expansion where we fight against Azeroth, defeat her, and kill her. And with that, the chapter of World of Warcraft is basically finished. Then he says that after that, it would start or continue with a WoW 2.0. To be honest, I don't really know what to think about that. But yeah, all in all, it's a pretty crazy story. Feel free to write in the comments what you think, how likely you think all of this is. Personally, when it comes to leaks, I'm always a bit skeptical. On one hand, a lot of things sound believable, but on the other hand, somehow 99% of all leaks end up being wrong. That's why I think some ideas aren't bad, like the one with the Arthas RPG. Personally, will there be a WoW 2.0? I don't really know if Blizzard would do that. If they will do it, we will see. But that would mean, if that's true, that the final expansion was announced for 2030, for the third quarter of 2030. That means we would definitely have another 6 years of World of Warcraft. It would probably end around 2032, and then either another expansion would start, or as the leaker says, WoW 2.0, but we'll have to wait and see. What do you think about it? Feel free to write it in the comments, and we'll see each other in the next video. Have a good time, leave a like, subscribe, and take care.